He came up to me after a show and called me a knockoff Pocahontas. And I wanted to tell him that to insult me accurately, he should have at least picked the right race, since Pocahontas was Powhatan, and I am Meskwaki, but I knew he wouldn't know the difference. I wanted to tell him that he should have asked me where my feather was, or told me that my $15 calfskin moccasins didn't make me native, but he wasn't creative enough for that, and could only resort to calling me out on the color of my skin because my skin didn't mesh with his perception of Indian. And my hair was only black during my emo phase in high school, and never highlighted with the colors of the wind, or whatever. And I wanted to tell him that he should have offered me firewater, so I could have thrown it in his face and maybe watered down this fire that climbs like unkempt English ivy up the inside of my throat to where it burns my teeth. My tongue spits sparks like tomahawks sharpened on whetstones at midnight. I wanted to tell him that I know my hair is red, but that I've really never had a problem with it because it just made sense since my blood is too. I wanted to tell him that the Meskwaki are the people of the red earth. The people who were here first, the people who understand thirst, and not just because not one Canadian reserve has drinkable water, but because we thirst for the earth and wonder why we are cursed to never put the earth first. I wanted to tell him that no matter how many times he's relocated his life, he has no idea what it means to move, that is to be moved, like we were moved from the fertile valleys and technicolor beaches of the Ottawa River, from the pink granite mountains of the Canadian Shield, studded with red and white pines stretching up to the sky like the long, limber fingers of giants arising, jack pines clinging their twisted roots around boulders, moved south, my brother. South, my sister, south to the deserts and windswept yellow plains. I wanted to tell him that the Meskwaki live without reservations. Because we don't live on reservations, 8,000 acres of Iowan soil bought legally, like pulling American teeth, we settled on settlements. And I wanted to tell him that owning our own land means so much more to my people than it does to his, because we can't ever own our own land, our homeland, because it's all buried under Toronto stone. And I wanted to tell him that it's hard to go home when your home is made of broken bones. He called me a knockoff Pocahontas, and I wanted to tell him that it was people like him who made me walk across shards of glass as a child so as to cut my feet so badly I could finally leave red footprints. Look, Ma, no white. People like him who made the suicide stats skyrocket so much that every Canadian reserve is a separate cemetery for children. And I wanted to tell him that Pocahontas hasn't ever really been one of my heroes, because although she has her own Barbie doll, she didn't do much more than contract tuberculosis after being kidnapped. And I wanted to tell him that I have many Native heroes and that Meskwaki women are beautiful. And although I don't look like my grandmother, I look like my grandmother. Woo! He came up to me after a show and called me a knockoff Pocahontas. And I wanted to tell him that in order to have his insults gain weight, he should have picked someone with low self-esteem. Because I have been told since birth that I am a white-skinned, green-eyed, red-blooded Meskwaki princess, a daughter of the red earth, dotted with freckles and red hair, and my self-worth can't be determined by the words of drunken racists.